Well, hello there, and welcome back to my channel where I make quality content that nobody really asks for. So today's video is another haul video, and it's my monthly comic book haul. This is something I'm going to start doing because I love collecting comic books when I'm not spending my money on dolls or Funko Pops. The other thing that I am buying is comic books. So these comic books are the ones that I don't buy in a lot. These are ones I buy individually during different events, and these are just all the ones I collected within the past few months. So yeah, I'm going to show you what I got in this video. So the first thing I'm going to show you is a graphic novel, because if I could find a graphic novel of a storyline that I like to buy that so I can have everything one thing together versus all these comics scattered. I mean, there's some comic book stories where I like to have the whole comic, but there's some where I like the story, but I'm not going to invest myself into buying a lot of the comic books because that's just all that time. So if I can find a graphic novel of it, I will buy the graphic novel. In this case, I did buy the graphic novel. So the graphic novel that I bought is the Bat Who Laughs story. I read all the Bat Who Laughs, I read the Bat Who Laughs, this one, the first story, and then I read The Infected, and then like Metal and DC Metal, Death Metal. Like I read all of them, and I love DC Metal, but DC Death Metal is okay. And the Bat Who Laughs story, the first one when they first introduced it, which is this graphic novel or this story, it's not my favorite. I mean, I like it, but I think it's a little bit long. But so that way I wasn't interested in collecting the whole series. But since I have everything into one graphic novel, I thought, hey, 12 bucks. It's at Walmart. Why not just snatch it up? And I have no regrets. I like having it all in one thing. And I like storing it on my bookshelf down here. It's just easier for me. I got it $12 at Walmart. It was on sale. It usually goes to $15 or $19. Got it for $12. Or I think it was even less than that. Yeah, this normally retails for 20 bucks. Got it for 12 bucks. Walmart. A lot of the ones at Walmart were damaged, but I found a good copy of it because I see these as books and collector's items. So yeah, very happy with this Bat Who Laughs graphic novel because the Bat Who Laughs is one of my favorite DC villains. I love him. Well, love him as a villain, right? But I just was in the mood to collect all the Bat Who Laughs comic, but since I have this graphic novel, everything's perfect that way. Yeah, that's the first thing I'm going to show you here is this Bat Who Laughs graphic novel. So the main comic book series that I'm collecting right now is Teen Titans, and mostly it's the 2003 to 2018 Titans. Like I did this whole giant comic book lot on my channel where I got this giant lot of these comics, and I'm just trying to finish that comics right now. And so at where I live, at my local mall is so cool. We have these collector shows every month, and every month a whole bunch of vendors from everywhere, like comic book vendors, card vendors, toy, Funko vendors. Like we get a lot of vendors there once a month, and I usually buy my comic books from there. And so that I'm going to show you. I haven't gone for a while because I've been going to conventions and I started working on weekends, so I don't have a lot of chances to go anymore. But these one I bought at this collector show. So the first one I told you that I got was, you only take it out of the seal so you won't get a glare, was this Teen Titans issue 42, Speak of the Devil. I just didn't have this one, and they had it, and so I bought it. It was like $2. So where it is, I haven't read it yet, but yeah, I got this comic at that show. That was $2. Put it back before I damage it because knowing me, I would. How clumsy I am. And then, so that's the only one I got from that series. And then they have at these comic book shows, they have a lot of vintage comics, and I'm not in the mood to collect vintage Teen Titans because I don't know if I want to collect the vintage or I want to collect the graphic novel, or do I want to buy them a lot on Mercari. I don't really know yet, but I saw these vintage Teen Titans comics and they just spoke to me, so I bought them. They're like $1 or $2, so why not? So the first one I got here, I'll take it out of the packaging here soon. Well, you can't really see. Is the Tale of the Teen Titans. It's kind of like a special where they just showed the first story of how the Titans got together, basically. Yeah. Anyway, it is. I just got it because they're telling the first story. I know this is not like the first issue of Teen Titans, But it's like how they got together basically in this storyline. I think it is a reprint. It's really cool. I love the 80s Nightwing look. He looks super cool. Yeah, it had like the vintage like newspaper type stuff. So yeah, I think it's really cool. I just bought it because it's basically like how they got together, and Speedy and Aqualad apparently guest started it. So I just bought it because I thought it was cool. And another vintage comic that I got was another Tale of the Teen Titans. Oh, this was issue 59, I think. And this is issue 60. Oh, I guess they go after each other. Did not know that. I don't like the way I buy comic books is I don't buy random comics. I buy lots on the internet, and I buy the comics to fill out those lots that I don't have, or if they have comics that I'm looking for altogether, I buy it. So I really buy individual comics by themselves randomly, but these ones, again, we're just calling my name. So as again, this is the Tale of Teen Titans, the beginning, the fearful return of Trigon. I just thought it was cool. I love the return of Trigon. Like Trigon, he's pretty cool. Yeah, Billy coming back. Nothing really interesting there, I guess. But he's super cool. It smells really old. It smells like a thrift store. But yeah, this is not my greatest condition comic because the cover is coming off. But it's really old, so I respect. And I thought it was cool about that one. And the one I also got was the Tale of the Teen Titans again. This is it's a part of a mini-series. And I haven't read all of these yet, that way I'm like blah, 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 blah. But this is more about Starfire. But I did read this one. Let me open it here. This killed all the tape. And this one basically gave the backstory of Starfire. And in this story, they talk about her and Blackfire's relationship, how Blackfire became to hate her, and they talk about her missing brother, and how her sister sold her to slavery. So yeah, this was it had the typical vintage comic book look, and it's really cool. I love Starfire. So this one's basically her origin story, where she talked about her family on Tamaran, and her evil sister, and how her evil sister betrayed her, and how they sold her to slavery, and how she was experiment on, and how she got her star built. So that was this comic, and I bought that because it caught my eye, and this tape, man, is like the death of me. I thought that was cool. And the last vintage comic I got from this show was the new Teen Titans, and this is the first introduction of Terra. And I never saw this comic online yet. And this is literally just the introduction of Terra. I read it, and it's basically that Beast Boy been following her around, and he wants to capture her because she's been stealing stuff. And then she accidentally hurt herself around her rock, so the Titans kind of took her in. So yeah, this is the first appearance of Terra, and I thought that was really cool. I never really saw this comic anywhere. I hadn't seen it online or anything that I've seen at this current moment. And when I bought her, so she was only $1, and again, it had the vintage print. And she's in like, this comic is like really good condition. Like, I think this is brand new. I think nobody ever read this comic. So yeah, this is Terra, the first introduction of her. I don't like Terra for obvious reasons. Every version, I think every Teen Titans fan doesn't like Terra because of certain reasons, but I just thought this was the first appearance of her, and I don't really see this comic from where I'm looking at. So, and because I only got this for $1, how could I refuse? So that was from that show, and so that was one purchase I did altogether. And then a few weeks later, I went to one of my favorite comic book stores here in Washington, which is Phantom Zone Comics. And I went retail therapy shopping, because I went through some stuff that day, and I was very upset, and I wanted to be feeling better, more happier. So I went to the comic book store, and I picked up 2 comics that I really wanted. And so I'm going to show you here now. So one of them is not Teen Titans. It's actually a DC Dark Knight's Death Metal. I don't collect this comic because it's not my favorite comic in the world, but I love the art style of DC Death Metal. Like this Wonder Woman Calls My Name. I love like the Robin King. Like I love DC Death Metal art style. I just don't like the storyline, and the reason why I bought this, I think I paid $5 for it. The reason why I mostly bought it, not because I love the story, but the cover is like super cool and blinding, and this is one of my favorite comic book covers, so it's just awesome. And I bought it for the cover. Not the story. I don't remember what actually happens in this comic. I bought it because I like the cover. That's basically it, and I have no regrets because I bought it for the art, not for the story. And then this one, though, I did bought it for the story. So Teen Titans Academy is one of the newer Teen Titans storylines that's going right now. Is active right now, and I have mixed feelings on Titans Academy. I can do a whole video just on Titans Academy, but it's not my favorite, and a lot of people either love this comic or they hate it. And right now, I have mixed feelings because I love the beginning, but the direction they're going right now with whole summer break and stuff, I'm just not vibing. But I still read them. But I don't collect them. I just read them online. But I read this comic, the Teen Titans Academy 2021 Yearbook. And this is like a one-shot story, so it has multiple stories in one. And I think this is the best story of Titans Academy. And I think this is the best comic book from Titans Academy so far. And a lot of people forget that it exists because it's kind of like a spin-off. It's like its own thing, right? And so the reason why I mostly bought it was one thing because the story is actually good in this one. They talk about the character Stitch, and I'm gonna say they because they don't really have pronouns. He doesn't really have pronouns, but he has a really cool story, Stitch. I don't want to give it away because you're just what it looks. I don't want to give it away because, like, I don't want to spoil anything. But I really like this story. But the main reason why I bought it was for the second story here, which is here. I'm going to show you a little bit snippet because it's a yearbook. It's about Beast Boy and Raven. And this comic kind of confirmed that they are back together because in the New 52, after they did the rebirth thing, Beast Boy and Raven haven't been together at all. And this is like the first time they've been back together in a long time since the original timeline. And like this storyline, this little story they have, it's so cute because Teen Titans Academy takes, like, there's a comic called Future State, and it's like, and then Titan Academy takes after that, so it's kind of like a prequel to Future State. And so they're having this giant visions of the school's going to fall apart, and a lot of disaster happened. I don't want to get into it, but like, it's really cool, and they really focus on it on this part. And you don't know that Beast Boy and Cyborg combined in Future State and they become Cybeast. Some people argue that they should be called Beast Boy. I don't know. I like Cybeast. And so this was this panel, and this is her vision. And then like Raven and Beast Boy, they're on a date. And she literally stopped time so they can be together. And this is the quick little story. Don't want to get into it that much, but it's so cute, their interaction. I love them, and it's really good to see like a mature Beast Boy and Raven versus a young one. Like, they're adults here, and they kind of know what they want, and they're just really cute, and I really love this storyline. And the other stories are cool too, like with what's this guy? The Matt Price, that's his name, and Billy, and they give more information about Red X because that's the thing in Titans Academy, the Red X storyline. It's a choice. I don't think it really fits in Titans Academy, but my thoughts of Titans Academy are my own, and I can do a video on my thoughts, but that does not this video. But that what I got is the Teen Titans Academy 2021 Yearbook. put it back here. Sad about that. It's at Phantom Zone Comics. I got this. You can't tell because it's so shiny and blinding, like a chow. And I got Teen Titans Academy 2021 yearbook. Recommend though, like if you not read Titans Academy and don't really want to read it, but I still recommend reading the yearbook because I think it did a better job of it versus all the other stuff that goes on. And then lastly, from my last comic book purchase that I done is I went to a Comic-Con show, which is Good City Comic Show here. I'm wearing the shirt. This is the convention. The convention was great. They had so many vendors. Like I only paid like $5 or $10 for admissions, and they had so many vendors. And they had a cosplay contest, and I actually won that cosplay contest. I was in Line Fury, and I was like so shook. But that convention was great, and I really wanted these comic books because again I'm looking forward to finish my Teen Titans 2003-2008 series, and I'm getting there. I'm at the home stretch of finishing it. So these are just some of the ones that I've been missing. I forgot which ones that I had, so I just bought the ones I know that I did not have. And these are the ones I've been waiting for. So the first one that I purchased from the show, sorry for the glare, I'll take it out soon, is this Teen Titans issue number 8, when they brought back Raven. And it's also the first appearance of Ravager, and I love Ravager. I've been looking for this comic everywhere because my lot didn't come with it, and I really wanted this comic, and I found it and I bought it. I bought it for $5. Everything was half off. They're having coup sales because it's a convention, so I got it. And it just really brought back Raven because in this comic book they fought like a new brother blood, and he's trying to resurrect Raven, and it's very interesting. And she's trying to call for help from them, and they're trying to find Raven here too. So I love this comic, and I'm so glad to have it because right now my mission when it comes to comic books is to finish the 2003 to 2008 series, because for me that's my favorite Teen Titans series. So yeah, got to have that. And since I got number 8, I know I didn't have issue 9, and so that's what it looks like. Sorry for the glare. Let me take it out here. And I got all of these for like super cheap too, which is really cool. So yeah, this is Teen Titans number 9, Licensed to Drive, same series. Again, they're just trying to find Raven, and that's really what they're doing. Save her from Brother Blood, this is a comic I already had. Trying to save her from this guy, so this kind of lead up to it. And again, just trying to finish this series. And close this here. Put it back before it gets damaged. And then the last two I got from that series from this show was issue 99 of Teen Titans, which is towards the end. I had all the other 90s besides 98, and I forgot to pick up 98. I thought I had it, but I didn't, so it bothers me that I have all the 90s besides 98. So yeah, this is issue number 99. Super cool, almost towards the end here. And Beast Boy and Raven apparently broke up in this comic, which is sad, but there's this one. Not much happens, to just same old fighting people. But this next one I'm going to show you, I'm very excited to have. So my best friend right now is trying to get into DC Comics, but everything's kind of confusing for her, which I get because DC is kind of confusing to get into. And my number one rule when you find comics is don't look on Wikipedia, because for the longest time I'm like, why do people like always say Wikipedia is wrong? Because every time I look on Wikipedia, I know I have it incorrect, but when it comes to finding comic books and stuff on Wikipedia, they're incorrect. Because if you're a Beast Boy and Raven shipper, because the main reason why I got into comic books was because I love Beast Boy and Raven, and I just want to have their moments in comic books. Obviously, as you guys can tell from all the comics I've been reading and collecting, that kind of obvious that I love Beast Boy and Raven together. And the main reason why I say I collect comic books because of Beast Boy and Raven. And if you type in Beast Boy and Raven, like all their canon or not, one of the first things you see is this comic book panel. It's like a very famous book, it's a very famous scene for Beast Boy and Raven. And for the longest time I wanted to find that comic, and this whole journey mostly is to find that comic. So I went on Wikipedia because I didn't know as much about DC as I do now. Like, I really want to find this comic, and I could never find it because they always have the wrong title of the comic. So I thought, oh well, if I keep collecting, maybe one day I will stumble across that scene and I will have it. And so if you're wondering which comic book this scene is in, well, I found it, and I did not expect to find it at all. So I just bought this comic book to finish the rest that I had. And this is Teen Titans issue 100. This is the explosive 100 issues. And this is kind of like the last issue in this comic, I think. And let me tell you, I bought it because I didn't know that this was the comic I've been looking for. I just bought it to finish the series. And I was reading it, I'm like, huh. It's really good. It's really good. I don't want to spoil it, but are you wondering where that scene is from? It's from this comic. I was just reading it, and then I flipped to this page. I was like, I found it, and I screamed. I went to my mom. I'm like, I found the comic book page I've been looking for. So this was a great find. I said I got this at Grid City Comic Con from the same vendor. I only paid a few bucks for it, and it's like shook that I actually have that Beast Boy and Raven scene in this comic. Like, I can believe I have it in my hands. So now I basically have all the like memorable Beast Boy and Raven moments in comic books. So one of my comic book goals is complete. So that was of that. So that was the last one I bought of that comic for a while, and from the same vendor. I can't put it back inside. There we go. Anyways, the last couple of things I bought from this vendor, and these are the last few things of this video, is the Titan series, which is the series. I thought it'd take place after this series, but I'm kind of confused. It is still connected to the timeline, but it's not connected. Like, if you know if it's like more like a spin-off or a continuation, let me know, because I'm confused. But the comic books I'm talking about are the Titans comics, and they're like adults here. And they do adult things in this comic book too. And it's kind of like the last battle. They're fighting Trigon again, and they're always fighting Trigon. And that's what they're doing. They're fighting Raven's brothers, Luz, Rage, and Envy, which is what the name of this comic is called. This is issue 3 of the Titans comic. This came in 2008, after this comic was finished. And it's a really good comic line, I think. And yeah, a big part of this comic is they're fighting Raven's half brothers, because it's Trigon can't keep it in his pants. So yeah, and they all kind of got affected by each that 7 deadly sins, but only 3. So like Nightwing and Starfire got lust, so they did it. And then the Flash and Wonder Girl, Donna Troy, they had envy. And then Speedy, Beast Boy, and Raven deal with rage. So it was really cool. I like it, the comic. I probably would finish it because I don't think there's a lot to collect. So I got that one. I got issue number 4, which is just a continuation of this one. They're just fighting Raven's brothers. Yeah. And then this one is probably one of my favorite comic book arts too. I bought it because I liked the series and also had a cool cover. And I didn't know there was a comic book cover until I bought the comic. And one thing, this comic book cover is super cool. And you can tell by Beast Boy and Raven holding hands. And this, I make sure this is the right one. It just, the Beast Boy, the shipping in this comic. I love it. I had to look, I remember here. Yeah, they're kind of like the aftermath of their first battle with Raven's brothers, and like Raven and Beast Boy are on like a date, and Nightwing and Starfire is having their moments, because Nightwing just has commitment issues. But yeah, it just there's some cute things that go on this comic. So much angst, so much drama. I love it. So I'll put that back in there before what? It gets damaged. And another one I got was issue number 8, because they didn't have 5, 6, or 7. Because, you know, of course not. But I got number 8 here. It's when they kind of switched the villain. They kind of stopped fighting Raven's brothers for a little bit, and they started to fight Jericho, because Jericho made a reappearance. So that was basically 8 and 9 here. And this part is funny because they had to tell each other their secrets, and like Raven, she loves Gossip Girl, so that's her secret if you're wondering. And the last one I got from this series, and this is the last 2 that I got for now, is these are the ones I mostly wanted because the covers caught my eye, was issue 17 and 18, because obviously I thought Raven and Beast Boy broke up, but I don't think they were dating in this comic. I don't know. I'm missing a lot of pieces here to the puzzle. But here's this cover looks like. And there's a whole bunch of ripped Beast Boy and Raven photos, and I bought it for the, you know, the inks, you know, because I love that. And what happened was, no, Beast Boy and Raven kind of fighting, right? And Beast Boy went to like a convention, and he was like a guest, and then he helped another pair of Titans because they were struggling because they don't have adult supervision, so he helped them out. And then he realized, like, hey, that team needs me, so he basically becomes the leader of that team. So in the next comic book story that I have here is number 18, where Raven's still fighting her brothers, but they disappeared, I guess. And then she's all depressed because she feels alone because she thinks is going to leave her eventually. Since it was this comic, I think the comic book cover looks a little bit weird because it looks more like a 3D model versus a cartoon. And yeah, she just fighting her brothers at the church that she was conceived in. And then, yeah, and then her brother took the image of her mom, and it was this whole thing. And yeah, they're all moving on in their life, and Raven's like, oh my gosh, I'm alone. And Beast Boy like, one thing, you think you're alone, Raven, but you're not. Okay, but like, it's not that scene. But he's basically telling, you know, you're alone as you make yourself to be. And, you know, you're alone because you chose to be alone. But hey, if you want not to be alone, you come visit me at my Titan's Tower. And that's how that story ends. And so that was just the last one I got. So I'm going to do a recap of all I got. So I got issue 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, 17, and 18 of the 2008 Titans line, because everything just named Titans. And I got issues 8, 9, 99, and 100 at the same show too, at Grit City. So we're in here. And then I went to the comic book store and I got Teen Titans Academy, which I still recommend reading the yearbook. You don't have to read Titans Academy to understand the yearbook, but it's a cute little one-shot storyline. Recommend reading. And I got this DC Dark Knight Death Metal cover comic book because I like the cover. And at the other show, I got a whole bunch of vintage comics and one Teen Titans new one. Oh, sorry, wrong one. This one. And a Back to the Last graphic novel. So that is this quick comic book monthly. I'm sure this was not quick, but that's what I got. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. And I hope it wasn't boring or cringy. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Bye!